That's new ToonTown, and it looks like Disney has some significant plans. New structures, more trees, and is that grass? Let's take a closer look at this concept art next on Fresh Baked. Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Fresh Baked. You know, I have been asking repeatedly for a new vision of ToonTown, something that's more organic, something that is more lived in. And by looking at this concept art, I really feel confident. This feels good. I feel like we just might be getting it. Let's take a closer look at this new concept art. We'll start here with the entrance as guests pass under the Disneyland Railroad, and right away on your left, we can see that they have got major plans for the area that used to be, Goofy's house and Toon Park. I mean, all of this right here is all new. I don't see any sign of either location, particularly Goofy's house, which should be right around this area. This area is going to be called, per the park's blog, Centennial Park. I guess to replace Toon Park. I see lots of grass, and this tree looks great. Now, there are also guests, though, running around on it, which makes me think it may not be organic, or possibly artificial turf. The tree may be real, actually, but the roots most likely are fabricated. Actually, in reading the description on the park's blog, they're calling it a dreaming tree, inspired by a tree young Walt might have sat under in his youth. And yes, they do describe the roots here as being, quote-unquote, sculpted. So that tells me, they're using the word sculpted, that tells me they're fabricated. The roots, at least, will not be real, but I'm hoping the tree, at least, will be. Where Goofy's house was, looks to be this new structure, and I can't really tell what it is. Here's another piece of concept art, which we'll look at more closely in a bit, but for now, I think that is the same structure. Actually, you know what, let's just stay here, because we're seeing, again, there's that grassy area with the tree and the roots a little more closely. This is the area that we just saw overhead. They're definitely suggesting that guests will be able to enjoy this area closely, and it looks absolutely like everything that I've been asking for. It looks organic, and it looks real, lived in. This area is described by the Disney Parks blog as being an open, grassy space for everyone to unplug, with landscaping for both spontaneous family play and parental relaxation. When I hear the statement family play and parental relaxation, to me that conjures up something that is something that Walt Disney himself would have wanted. That was something that he expressed his desire to have when he built Disneyland, was a place for kids and family to play together. And specifically, he would say things like, parents could sit down somewhere and relax while their kids ran around and they didn't have to worry about it. They have literally done something here at ToonTown that I didn't think it was possible for Disney to do again in the modern era, and that is try to do something that Walt would have actually, they like to say that he did. This may be actually something that Walt has asked for, or Walt wanted. I can only hope that the words grassy and landscaping are at least in some way literal. That would make me really happy. Moving on, the fountain featured in this image is new, and it looks to be located right around where the Jolly Trolley or the gazebo are today. The fountain will have water features for kids to play in, and then at night it will be, per the park's blog, brought to life in a unique spectacle. Is this a dream? Is this real life? My mind is suggesting something like what we've seen at Pixie Hollow, that little light show that they do, or they used to do at Pixie Hollow. I see opportunity for movement in some of the physical features of the fountain, and that vine right there, I'm fairly certain that will light up at night with some sort of movement in the lights as well. And that also looks like, by the way, a new outfit for Minnie. It's not a real clear image, but I haven't seen her wear anything like that before, so I'd love to learn more about that. This scene right there is exactly what it looks like. It is exactly what I've been asking for. Here's to hoping that it delivers. Let's take a look at the rest of the concept art to see what else we can discover. In the background, again, there's that old structure that we talk about that sits about where Goofy's house did. Not sure if the structure to its right is connected or if it's separate, but it too looks new. That doesn't look like anything we see in ToonTown today. So let's go back to the long view, and that's this structure here in the long view. It looks different in the overhead than it is in the other concept art, but overall I think it does appear to be the same thing. And it's so hard to get some true bearings on where things are because it looks like they've completely redrawn how this part of the land exists. The concept art also doesn't really appear to be to scale, at least to my eyes, because I'm pretty sure that's Donald's boat right there with Gadget's Go Coaster behind it. So it looks like they've arranged it in such a way in this art that it's kind of confusing to my eye. That new structure appears to be more forward in space in relation to Goofy's house. It almost looks like it's encroaching into the Mickey's fountain that's in front of Mickey's house. And right now, actually, you can see that they have taken out the Mickey's fountain and replaced it with this grass area here with a tree. I don't know if that's the exact location of the old fountain, or maybe if it's been pushed forward more closer to Mickey's house. Hard to tell. There is Mickey and Minnie's house still intact, but also still possible that it will be the exit of Mickey's Runaway Railway. Moving to the right is the dining area, which we can see has been redesigned somewhat. The gazebo is gone, lots more trees, and again, it's looking more organic than before. And there is what I assume will be the entrance to Runaway Railway. From this angle, you can see it'll look just like the concept art that we've seen in the past. The play area at the exit of Roger Rabbit's looks almost completely different to me. I mean, the structures, the buildings are still there, but not the existing play features. They did mention in the parks blog that there's going to be lots of things for kids to interact with. There's going to be tactile interaction and enjoyment. So I don't think that they've gotten rid of those features completely. They're just not there in this concept art for Roger Rabbit's. It could be that they are going to stay, or they have reimagined those as well. Hard to tell from the concept art. That big tree right here, for example, is right about where the fireworks play area is. And this feels like it'll be different for sure. That's the old Gag Factory entrance. It looks like a dead end now. Not sure what their plans are, but I'm curious. Are those stage lights? Is that a marquee? Will there be a show? Could it be that they might do a little small show in that little area? Are you kidding me? I know, I'm dreaming now. I'm in blue sky mode in my brain right now, but that would be amazing if they could do that. If they could find a way. I love little pop-up shows, live entertainment on the street, things like this. I don't know what it is, but it brings energy and excitement. And did you see that thing when you went to ToonTown? Were you able to experience whatever it is that is? Every land needs something like this. They need more of this at Disneyland. And it looks like, to me, it's possible at least. We don't know, I can't tell for sure, but that does look like a marquee. Those do look like stage lights. Crossing my fingers. Okay, here's the entrance to Roger Rabbit, and where there was once the Roger Rabbit fountain, there is now just more grass and more trees, which is, again, wonderful. Probably not real grass, though. Again, just observing that there are guests here and also strollers. That's stroller parking right there. So there's no chance, in my opinion, that they would have you park strollers on real grass, right? They're not going to do that. It would destroy the grass. There's one thing that I know. You give people a chance at Disneyland to walk on real grass, and they will destroy it. So I'm hopeful, but doubtful about real grass. If there is real grass, it'll be fenced off where you can't actually walk on it. Hoping at least that they have some artificial turf and not just green concrete. But speaking of green concrete, here's something. The path that we've been watching them build on the Fantasyland side of the bridge, the train bridge, appears to extend into ToonTown. And we know already that it's concrete. We've seen them pour the concrete already. So green concrete, I guess? Whatever the case may be, this does now appear to be a ToonTown path. Not a Fantasyland path, a ToonTown path. It's in ToonTown, and anything that starts or finishes in ToonTown makes it a ToonTown path, in my opinion. That is its purpose now, so we can say that. I mean, there's still lots of questions about what its purpose is, but we can now say for sure that it does go beyond the bridge and into ToonTown. As for a timeline on this, the estimated timeline for Runaway Railway was 2023. It had been pushed back a year. It was going to be 2022. It got pushed back to 2023. So too do we expect the ToonTown makeover to be 2023 as well. And it's possible that that's why they extended it. I thought maybe it was just going to be because of construction delays, but it's possible they may have come up with a bigger vision for ToonTown, and that's why it's now 23 instead of 22. And also, per the Parks blog, they're going to close ToonTown in March of 2022 to begin the construction of the new features of the new ToonTown. Which, by the way, it sounds bad, bummer that we're going to lose ToonTown for a year, but that's actually very, very good news when it comes to the prospects of what ToonTown will become, for two reasons. Closing the land for a year tells me that this is not going to be done piecemeal. They're not just going to fix a thing here, do a thing there, while they keep the park open, or the land open, I should say. Closing it means that they're serious, okay, and they're going to do it all at once. And two, it also means that this is more than just a reskin. Sure, there are going to be components of ToonTown that are going to remain, and then there are components of it that are going to get a reskin, but there's also a large part of it, as we've seen in Centennial Park, that this is going to be completely brand new. They're going to level entire sections of ToonTown and give us something new, something exciting, something that isn't just a plain reskin. Kind of like, I think Pixar Pier. They left Pixar Pier open for the most part while they were doing its reskin. And I mean, the results are mixed on that. But one thing we can say is that closing a park or closing a land and doing something totally new like this is far superior than just doing your basic quick reskin of a land. This will be a significant operation, more than just TLC. And if you listened to our podcast last week, by the way, what are the odds that we get this news a week after we put out our ToonTown podcast? But I digress. If you listened to our podcast last week, we were talking about the idea of TLC, and that was a thing that people talked about all the time with regard to ToonTown, that it needed TLC. And I said in that podcast, no, it doesn't need TLC. It needs way more than that. It needs way more than TLC. It needs way more than just a new haircut. It needs a whole new vision, a whole reimagining of the land itself. And I really do feel like there's a very good possibility that is exactly what we're going to get with this. Not completely, but enough that it makes the land a place worthy of visiting. And I have to say, I'm kind of shocked that this is happening. I have to say that I'm surprised that what they're talking about, what they're planning to do, is as good as it appears it is. Crossing our fingers. So stay tuned to Fresh Baked now. We got more reasons to watch those construction updates because this, of course, will be part of those regular updates. And until then, guys, follow us on Instagram at _FreshBaked, on Twitter at FreshBakedDisney, that's fresh with no E, and on TikTok at FreshBakedDisney. If you like our show and would like to show your support, please do consider joining our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/freshbaked. Thanks again, guys, for watching. We love you very much. Be safe out there. Be kind to one another. And Fresh Baked!